Hello everyone and welcome to the 4.0, I forgot what I was going to say, 4.0 Sawbones Scoundrel overview. Now this class, pretty interesting actually. I did some raiding with this one. Well, I say raiding, I did story mode ops, which are a complete joke. They're a complete fucking joke these days. Let's take a look at what's changed. What do we get? What's new? We get a prolonged prescription is what we get at level 64. Increases the duration of slow release med pack by 3 seconds. Pretty nice. Additionally, pugnacity grants prolonged prescription, which when active, there's too many P's there. When activated, makes our next Colto pack or Underworld Medicine activate instantly. So of course, pugnacity is our cooldown. It gives us 10% alacrity for 15 seconds. We pop it, we get a free instant cast, either Underworld Medicine or Colto pack. We also get a stack of upper hand as well, so we can use our Colto pack. Pretty nice. Works pretty well with our set bonus. Actually, bear in mind it is a 2-minute cooldown, so every 2 minutes we get an instant cast. If we look at our set bonus, we get an auto crit Underworld Medicine. If we take a look at that, I've kept the hold of the set bonus. The set bonus in 4.0 is the same as it was in 3.0, so you're going to want to keep a hold of your set bonus. To be honest with you, I would suggest keeping a hold of it. Certainly you're going to want to keep that, because again, 15% chance to grant field medics critical bonus, which causes their next Underworld Medicine to be an automatic critical. So theoretically, pop this at the right time, we can get a auto crit instant cast Underworld Medicine. Okay, so that is not too bad actually. It's not too bad, but Sawbones, let's take a look at the utility changes. Nothing else is hugely changed, really. I don't think anything has massively changed here. Upper hand has been, sorry, bedside manner has been nerfed a bit. It's back down to 3%. It was 5% beforehand. Your crit healing bonus is still 20%. So that's still pretty much the same. Your crit multiplier bonus, we should say. Increase the critical healing bonus, Underworld Medicine, Colto pack, and Emergency Med pack by 20%. Also, they are pretty much still the same. So the only thing that's really been nerfed is Bedside Manner is being cut to 3%. Again, I think this is still pretty much the same. Yeah, it's still pretty much the same. Heals the target and 3 allies. Colto Cloud still costs 15 energy, so it's still pretty much the same. Cooldown is 15 seconds. We do get the cooldown reduced of Coastal Cloud. Yeah, it's still pretty much the same there. So not much has changed, really. Not much has changed with our priority. The only real thing that has changed is slow release med pack lasts longer. Okay, slow release med pack will last longer on the target. So you can see here it is, I think it's 19 seconds it will last instead of, I can't remember, it was, it's 3 extra seconds, so it must be 15 seconds. So there you go, 19 seconds. It does put less pressure on us in order for it to work. So it puts less pressure on us, at least when we're going through that there. So at least that. So utilities we'll take a look at. So the extra 3 seconds is pretty nice. I mean, again, we just mean we have to refresh it less, which means less micromanagement overall. So it's pretty decent. I've done a few flashpoints. They are pretty tough actually. You're gonna have to CC things. LIHM is fun. Did it in a guild run. Don't want to do it in a pug run, to be honest. So the utilities, the only real new utility that we've got in Skillful is curbing shots. Quick shot and blaster volley reduce the movement speed of the targets for 40% for 6 seconds. Not very useful in PvE, to be honest with you. Not the best when we're doing PvE. PvP is pretty nice. Again, slowing your targets is nice. Stops them getting away from you because you're a melee class, and well, it stops them unless they teleport, obviously. But other than that, for raiding, if you're interested in PvE, Smuggle Get Up, reduce all AoE damage by 30%. Pretty nice. A lot of fights with big AoE damage. Fights like, again, Sword Squadron, Underlurker, Garge has a decent amount of AoE damage. Zorn and Toth has a lot of AoE damage. Firebrand and Stormcaller, a lot of AoE damage going out of that. A lot of circles. Again, if you have to stay on the ground as a smuggler, generally we can stay on the ground. We used to be on the ground all the time as a Scoundrel, but we have a bit less mobility these days, so still a bit less, still arguably the worst healer for mobility. So we probably won't be asked to be on the ground on Firebrand and Stormcaller, but fights like that, it is going to be useful because there's a lot of good big AoE hits going out. Again, Storm Protocols as well. Shouldn't be getting hit by Storm Protocols, but just in case we do, on the Annihilation Droid. I'm trying to think, there's a lot of bosses in this raid. This raid tier, I guess, has a lot of things that we can get hit by. Karaga as well. Karaga as well does an AoE. So again, quite nice, very important. Scar Tissue is again must have. Really, all damage reduced by 5%. If we're CCing a lot of things, if we're stealth CCing a lot of things, I would take Sneaky as well for flashpoints in particular. If we're stealth CCing, it minimizes the chance of us getting caught. So increases our effective stealth level by 3 and our movement speed while stealth by 15%. So it's pretty useful. Otherwise, if we're doing ads, if we're doing fights like Garge, which has the dog ads, if we ever get a hit on the pylons are not really a boss. If we're doing the Revanite Commanders, again, Flash Powder. If you're doing flashpoints as well, if you're not CCing things, if you're getting hit by a lot of things, people are breaking your CC, then Flash Powder is very good. Reduces the target's accuracy by 20% for 8 seconds. Very, very useful actually. It's a good defensive cooldown. As a healer, you can provide the whole raid a defensive cooldown. It's essentially, it works the same as Riot Gas. So if you've got a Vanguard healer, it's probably not the best. If we're cleaving, which we very rarely do as a healer, Blaster Volley, Hold Out Defense, not really. We're never in melee range, really. We shouldn't really be in melee range as a healer. Dirty Escape, reduce the cooldown of Dirty Kick by 15 seconds. I'd always take Flash Powder over that. It's just a better cooldown for everybody than Dirty Kick. Although Dirty Kick is handy on, again, the Revanite Commanders. We want to stun them if you're doing hard mode Revanite Commanders. Don't know what they're like right now. Masterful tier, we get supplemented med pack. Your slow release med pack is active on yourself. Your damage reduction is increased by 3% per stack. So 6%, 2 stacks there. I like it. For raiding is very, very useful because the other thing we used to take from a defensive standpoint was med screen, which gave us a 5% heal every time our defense screen collapsed. I prefer this now because we can keep this up. Bear in mind, it is 19 seconds, and you can refresh it quite easily if we had a stack of upper hand. There you go, we got one there. Conveniently, you can refresh it with emergency med pack, so you can always keep that up on yourself when there's the downtime. Make sure you can keep that up. You can keep 100% uptime of your slow release med pack. You'll get 6% damage reduction, which is pretty nice actually, rather than having this. The only other thing to really take for raiding is Dirty Trickster. Surrender will purge movement impairing effects when activated. For Underlurker, is especially Underlurker hard mode, is pretty damn useful. I don't really reducing the cooldown of Disappearing Act is a bit of a waste of time. Disappearing Act generally is a bit useless unless the raid's wiped and you don't want to avoid a repair cost and you're the last person to die in the raid. That's the only real-time Disappearing Act comes in handy. But stealth resing very rarely works. A lot of AoE damage going out, particularly Temple of Sacrifice and Ravagers. A lot of AoE, so it's not really worth it. Maybe in the other raids, maybe you can get away with it. But generally, what happens is as soon as you click someone to stealth res them, you go back into combat. So I don't see the point in that. Anatomy lessons is a waste of time. Stopping power is a waste of time. Sedatives can be useful if we're CCing. When our tranquilizer wears off, the target is struck by sedatives, reducing all damage dealt by 50% for the next 10 seconds. Again, if we are doing those flashpoints, doing your if you're doing those hard mode flashpoints where we're CCing things, it's very nice to get that 50% damage reduction, so can be useful. Can actually be useful. Again, but people are going to break your CC, especially if people are going to break your CC, at least you're putting a debuff on it. You know, if the DPS just run in and AoE, at least if they break it, you know, I think if they break it, they do get the damage reduction, so consider it if you're in a bad pug group. Keep cool generally is the go-to because we don't want to run short on energy. Immediately get that 15 additional energy back. Of course, cool head is our energy regen. Okay, 50 energy over 3 seconds gives you an extra 15 right away, so it is pretty damn useful here. When it comes to heroic, our new ability is trick move. Trick move is a new ability. We'll talk about that later on. Trick move can be used while immobilized and purges movement impairing effects when used. Again, you could either this or this. Dirty Trickster. You could have both theoretically. Trick move is very, very useful. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about what trick move is. So either or here, Dirty Trickster or Sleight of Foot can come in handy. Both are 45-second cooldowns, so it doesn't really make a huge difference which one that you pick here. I generally, if you're gonna get the use out of it, I would go with it. It depends if you're caught out. If you're ever caught out in the wrong position, okay, if your positioning isn't that great, then trick move can be very, very useful. But we'll talk about that later on. Hotwire defenses, if we're doing a fight that we're going to take spike damage. Okay, Sword Squadron was always the classic example. Sword Squadron hard mode was the example because we could get the huge grenade. We get the grenade on us. Also, we could get the what was it called again? The gravity well. Getting pulled in by that, we were going to take damage. It was a big spike damage, and by taking Hotwire defenses, also for the bonus boss in Depths of Manan, still available at that, still there. So again, Hotwire defenses is pretty useful. Increases the amount of damage absorbed by defense screen by 30%. We can flat out ignore certain things, like again the gravity on Sword Squadron. We can just ignore it. And I would always take Smuggle Defenses. Reduce the cooldown of escape by 30 seconds, defense screen by 5. Defense screen, reducing it by 5 seconds is quite nice, because it means we can use it more often, especially again on Sword Squadron, so I'd say this one. The only other one that I would consider taking, if it's still, is it still here? There it is, Scramble. Now if you're doing Underlurker hard mode, take this, okay, take this. I don't know if they've nerfed it now. I don't know if they've actually nerfed this or whether it's still doable in 4.0, but every time we get attacked, the active cooldown of our dodge is reduced by 3 seconds, okay? Dodge, very, very powerful, okay? Dodge is one of our most powerful defensive cooldowns. Increases our chance to dodge ranged and melee attacks by 200% for 3 seconds. Some fights, this is useless. Underlurker, most of the Underlurker's attacks, including the Devastate, which is what he channels when you're in the cross, is a melee attack. So we can totally ignore Devastate. In fact, when we did Underlurker hard mode, I was the person who stood in front of it. Okay, and you did get a debuff standing in front of it, but it's irrelevant. Your debuffs are irrelevant because you never take any damage. It lasts for 3 seconds, so you wait. You set focus to him. We'll use Senya here as our example. So you set focus, you see the channel, it's got less than 3 seconds to go, pop your dodge and slash laugh, and you just take no damage. Okay, so it does last for 3 seconds. It only lasts for 3 seconds, so you got to time it well. It's quite easy to time, so again, always set focus to the target. Very, very useful Scramble. Surprise comeback, you can get a bit of extra healing out of your 5% total health, and reduces damage received by 20% for the duration with your pugnacity. That can come in handy as well. If we're taking sort of constant non-spike damage, if there's certain fights like Titan 6 at the end, that's pretty useful, because you will pop pugnacity at the end, because that's the big... You'll be saving pugnacity for the big burn phase at the end, so it can actually be useful in burn phases where we have to kill things and we're taking a lot of damage. So again, just getting that little bit of healing and taking 20% less damage is quite nice there as well. But out of the new abilities, supplemented med pack is quite nice. Again, there's a lot of just damage reduction things here that we want to take, because bear in mind, as a healer, we want to take as little damage as possible. Rotation wise, it's pretty much the same. Really, we'll talk about trick move. What does trick move do? Trick move is shadow steps. If we select, I can't select chem, we'll select that draw. Can we move to that. You can see here it just moves us to the ally. We can't select. Yeah, we can select Chem now. There you go. 45-second cooldown. Very good if we need to be in a specific position. We can use it on an enemy as well, but not really recommended as a healer. Use it on an ally. You can see here it just moves us to the target. Doesn't break stealth as well. Also increases our movement speed by 75% for 3 seconds. If you're doing Underlurker and you're standing behind the wrong rock, this is pretty handy. It's actually pretty handy to use. Pretty nice little ability for covering the distance. You could also use it on Guards as well. If you're struggling with the platforming on Guards, when the platforms come down, you can just wait till someone gets to the other side and be a lazy git that you are, just instantly teleport yourself there. It's pretty nice on that fight actually. Also, if you were a melee DPS, you could also use it on Guards when he does his Pounce and Frenzy for getting out. So a lot of uses out of that. It is a very, very good ability. That is our trick move. I keep calling it. It is Shadow Step. The only problem I have with it when you do it to an enemy as a DPS is that you don't appear behind the target. So a Scrapper, it kind of sucks. That's the only complaint I have about it. Get that level 61. By the way, you get this ability. So it is very, very handy just for moving things. You can also troll with it on Tyrants if you want. Move the simplification under the melee if you're a bit of a dick. You can do that if you want to be a total dick. But you can just go over here and then just go... Oh, you have to be in line of sight of the target as well. So make sure... Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Ah, there you go. Behind the wrong rock on Underlurker. Boom. Teleport right there. Or, you know, oh, I'm on the wrong side of the cross. I'm on the left. I should be on the right. Click someone on the left. Click someone on the right, should we say, and then just teleport right to them. It is a pretty nice thing. So as far as our strategy for healing, it's still pretty much the same. 2 stacks, slow release med pack. We want to start in stealth actually. Come out of stealth, get yourself 2 stacks upper hand. Colto pack is very, very useful here, and again, you get your bedside manner, which heals us for a bit less. As you can see there, we use our emergency med pack to refresh the duration. We need to do this a bit less so we can just focus on healing. We can just focus bedside manner up, fire off Underworld Medicine. Our goal is always to charge up Underworld Medicine, and we can get an instant cast Underworld Medicine. Pugnacity will grant us that. See if we can get our crit bonus, and we'll see if we can keep the thing up. We'll pop up another hot there. Fire that off. See if it'll proc. Will it proc? Come on, proc. Where's me Underworld? Crit bonus ain't proc. It just ain't proc. It doesn't want to proc. Does not want to proc today. I'll have the 6-piece set. It's just not procking at all. Proc, damn it. There it is. There you go. So you do that, and then you go instant. Nice big heal there. An instant auto crit. Underworld Medicine. You can use it with Colto Pack as well. I would suggest probably using it if we've got the set bonus. Underworld Medicine generally is the way to go, I would suggest, with that. Underworld Medicine does heal for more, especially if you have the bedside manner buff up. Then bedside manner, auto crit, Underworld Medicine is what you're going to use it with. Other occasions you might want to use it with Colto Pack. If the target's health isn't going to benefit from a big auto crit Underworld Medicine, then a Colto Pack, an instant cast Colto Pack. Although we're generally not really going to pop this if the targets are a decent amount of health. So my suggestion is pop it with Underworld Medicine. Make sure you fire off an emergency med pack, just so that you get the bedside manner buff up. So if you come out of stealth, fire that off, pop it, and then fire instant auto crit Underworld Medicine. We generally save. It's going to be useful in burn phases certainly. Get that off on the tank. Gonna be pretty useful again. We talk about fights like what's it called again? Titan 6 with the burn phase. Kephis with his Kephis. Both instances of Kephis really have burn phases in them, so you're gonna be popping it off then. So you're gonna want to get them off. Other than that, it's pretty good actually as a healer these days. We're not too bad. We can't get sniped at least with that now, isn't it? Fucking Sages. It is a 2-minute cooldown, mind you, but Still pretty useful. We're still, I think, probably in the same boat. It is nice to have slow release med pack last longer. It means we can go away and just leave things a little bit. We can leave slow release med pack. It offers us that little bit more flexibility, and we're not constantly worrying about refreshing it. That's the one thing that it gives us. So it does give us a little bit more. Trick move is a nice mobility increase. But yeah, the Scoundrel's still there. Still one of the best utility-wide healers in terms of utility. Utility-wise healers in terms of their utility, they're still very, very useful. They're good at soaking damage. They're good at, they're good at dealing with AoE. We still got our Colto waves, obviously, for AoE. We've still got our Colto Cloud, which again works nicely with our set bonus. I just kept my old set bonus. When it comes to gearing, I've kept the old set bonus. The new set bonus is the exact same, so don't replace the armorings is what I would say to you. I've kept my Revenite relics because the current relics are kind of crappy. Again, I would suggest buying the PvP relics. If you don't have any decent relics, if you've got 178 relics or 186 relics, I'd recommend the PvP ones. They are, I think, if 500 comms will buy you both of them. I think they're 240 comms each, so 480 comms, I think, or they're 240 or 250, I can't remember. But yeah, I would suggest getting the. As for stats, again, we do want a decent crit chance, probably about over 30% crit chance. Bear in mind that power and crit are no longer the same. So what we've got here is, we see here that we've got power, and power is our only tertiary stat, okay? Everything here, I got myself a 220 main hand, 5 million credits it cost me for the barrel, but it's worth it because all 8 of my non-force user characters can use that barrel. That's the one advantage of 4.0, with mastery being the main stat, because of course the barrel is only mastery and endurance. Of course, I just keep it for the tank as well. I keep it for my tank, let my tank use the DPS one, doesn't really make any difference. Got 216 mod and enhancement in there, got 198 barrel in my thing. Most of these are, I've got some Revenites, I've got a Revenite, you see here we've got the Revenite, what's it called, Revenite armoring in there, and we've got the 216 mods in there. Alacrity, we want to try and get above sort of 9% alacrity. We want to be above 9% in this expansion. 8% is okay. I am lacking a little bit of alacrity here, so I'm probably going to get. They've got a 216 crit. Bear in mind, crit does increase our crit multiplier. We do get the 20% crit damage bonus, so we want to be critting quite a lot. Okay, so our Underworld Medicine and our Colto pack, we want to see them critting quite a lot, and their emergency med pack. So the more crit that we get, the more viable actually spamming emergency med pack to move. It actually makes us more mobile getting more crit, because we can just keep that emergency med pack rolling, and if it crits more often, probably going to go to about 35, maybe even 40% crit. Okay, we want to try and get this up a little bit as well, get up to at least 65%. We have lost a lot of crit multiplier in the conversion, because bear in mind you get crit multiplier by critical rating. Okay, critical rating, we got 584 crit. Increases our ranged, our tech crit chance is what all we're interested in as a healer, and our tech crit damage bonus. Okay, so it increases in both. It doesn't go evenly though, because bear in mind mastery increases your tech critical chance as well. So, but mastery does not increase crit multiplier. That should be noted. That mastery will not increase this stat. Only crit will increase this stat. So you can crit crystals. For a healer, I always like power crystal because I always like the sure thing. In terms of that, you could augment for crit. Bear in mind that crystals these days, to be perfectly honest with you, 41 power kind of sucks. Because look at the mods and enhancements, both giving you 73 power. And these are the 220 mods. Bear in mind that 220 is not best in slot. Some people are saying, oh, you can buy best in slot. No, it's not. 224 is best in slot. Bear in mind, 224 is the gear that you can only obtain from operations. That's the ultimate Exarch gear, because there's Exarch gear and ultimate Exarch gear. And there's Exarch gear with the set bonus as well, which drops from operations. You only get from hard mode operations. The 220 stuff is the stuff for comms. So it will be, I guess, kind of crappy, but we're just starting out. We're not really raiding hard mode, so my Revenite stuff, I'm keeping a hold of it. because you get decent amounts of power out of it, decent amounts of alacrity. We are just lacking that little bit of alacrity, so we are going to have to replace them. I'm probably going to replace them with 220. Okay, that's what I'm going to replace them with. One of these was crit, one of these was power, but they're all power now. Power is the only secondary stat, so you can see we have a shit ton of power. We got 2,302 power. I don't know where the diminishing return point is on power, so you know, it's like I don't actually know where it's going to be. So in terms of augmenting, I'd just stick to mastery. Again, crit is a good benefit, so I'd stick to, they've got a 208 augment, 73 mastery. So bear in mind, I don't think crystals are not worth it, because 82 is the stats from crystals, 41 of each, so 82 crit or 82 power. Bear in mind that a 208 augment nets you 73 power, okay, or mastery. So the crystals aren't really a huge choice, they're just really a cosmetic thing. If you're gonna take crit crystals, then you could augment for power, and one power augment will make up for that, okay, because it's 73 power in a 208 thing. Okay, this is not huge, okay, to be honest with you, not gonna be huge what the decision is. You could just take the 2 power crystals and get yourself a crit augment if you really want to. It's not that important whether you take crit crystal or power crystal. It's just something, just pick whatever you want. Pick the crystal color you like, and then put an augment in for power. Okay, don't pick the PvP stat expertise, and don't pick endurance though if you're a non-tank class. But yeah, just take power or crit, and I would go with that, to be honest. It's quite expensive to change classes, because what I will say for this is your barrels are no longer bound to the weapon type. They are just says ranged weapon, so you can use this with any ranged weapon. So I can give this to my Vanguard. What I do is extract them, slap them in a legacy bound anything. Okay, I can put this in a legacy bound pistol, I can put it in a legacy bound rifle, that's another, I can put it in a legacy bound sniper rifle. It doesn't make any difference what we put it in these days. We can use anything we want. For force users, obviously any lightsaber will do. It's no longer bound to a single bladed lightsaber or a double bladed lightsaber, it doesn't matter as well. So gearing your alts, it cost me 5 million credits for that. And to serve 8 characters, because I have 2 smugglers, 2 troopers, 2 bounty hunters, and 2 agents. So it will serve all of them, even the tanks, because I don't really see the point in having the tanky one, to be honest with you. It's just extra endurance, really. Helps you out with threat, getting the extra mastery. So that's the good thing about this mastery system. A lot of people complained about it, but you can see the good side to it is gearing alts is ridiculously easy. Every single alt I level to 65 has a 220 main hand, every non-force user alt, and that's pretty good for starting out, really. 5 million credits among 8 characters, good value for money. So anyway, that is all for this video. I don't think we've really missed anything out, really. Flashbang, I'll suggest using that for lowering accuracy. But yeah, that's about it. Of course, our raid buff, stack the deck. You know when to pop that, and whenever they say, oh, usually your raid leader or guild master will tell you when to pop that. But yeah, story mode ops, ridiculously easy. Had fun doing them. Adrenals, still use the triage adrenal. Increases force power and tech power by 685. Reduces all damage dealt by 20%. Who cares? We're not doing DPS. We're a healer. Anyway, that is all. I'm gonna have to go and level. That's the wrong thing now. I'm gonna have to go and level my biochem so I can get better stims and better adrenals. Although this is not my main anymore, but it's still a fun class to play. Still gonna play it. I leveled her to 65 primarily because she had capped comms. Now she's got nothing. Spent most of them on my Vanguard, and our common data crystals that we were gonna do for the healer. But the 208 gear is pretty crappy, actually. The 192 resurrected is pretty decent, or I'd only replace it with 216 for the resurrected, and only replace Revanite with 220 would be my suggestion, unless they're the set bonus stuff, in which case replace it with 216 set bonus, because they are an upgrade. So anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.